Hey guys, it's Miss Carpenter. I wanted to make a video instead of sending out a really long message. So I just wanted to go over a few things that we have going on and to review a few things as far as Wednesdays. So we're going to talk about testing coming up, just Wednesday assignments, and a few other items as well. So for Wednesday, I just wanted to remind you some things that you could be doing on Wednesday. I tried to not really put a lot of work on your children. I know they do a lot for schoolwork. Um, so I like to keep it to review. So some things they could be doing, reading a book on Wednesday, setting that timer for at least 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. They can also get on Imagine Learning, and they can do some of the multiplication sheets that I have sent home. And with the multiplication, they can also create flashcards so they can work towards starting to memorize their facts. We have the songs, which are so wonderful, but we want to get them to a point where they can see something like 6 times 3 and just know that it's 18. So my suggestion for that is to start with possibly doing like your twos, 2 times 1, 2 times 2, all the way up to 2 times 10. And just have them practice the twos for a whole week until they memorize them. And then they can move on to their threes and do the same thing, write their threes all the way up to the tens. Um, and maybe put a few of the twos in there so they can make sure they're still getting those as well and shuffle them in with their threes. And then just build them up until they get to their tens. So in third grade, we want them to be able to go all the way up till 10. It doesn't hurt to go to the 11s and 12s, but for third grade, we want them to be able to go up to their 10s. Okay, let's talk about testing. So I had a few parents, they were asking about testing on Wednesday. There are only a few students who are taking a test called Access, and that is not for every student in our class. And if you have a student that's taking the Access testing, you should have been called by Miss Atkins. She's the one who's in charge of that. And that's not any information I have. If you have any questions about that, you can email me and I can reach out to Miss Atkins about it. But as far as what the whole class is doing, we will all be taking the COGAT and the Iowa test. And so this is going to look a little bit different. And this is also going to mean that I will not be live with the students online during this test. So on Thursday of this week, we will be taking the COGAT test. And so we recommend that your child gets a good night's sleep, that they have a good breakfast. This test, it's 10-minute sections. And we normally, on a normal year, we would take this, it would take us a whole week, but they have decided to put it into one day, which I'm going to be honest, I actually prefer that. But it's like 10-minute sections, and it's helps with like the IQ. It's a test where we look at the student's IQ. So get a good night's sleep for that. We will be taking that on Thursday. And that being said, for my online students, I will not be live because I have to proctor the test and the students in the class have to take the test. So your student can be doing some of the Wednesday assignments, reading a book, Imagine Learning, some of those options. And then I will send you a message once we are finished with the test. I will send you a message to let you know that I can go live. I don't know what time that test will end because it just depends on your class and accommodations. So I can't necessarily say a set time, but as soon as we are able to get on and we're done with lunch and specials, I will send out a message so that we can all get on together. And this will be the same for when we take the Iowa test. So the Iowa test will be when we get back from winter break. It'll be on a Tuesday the 23rd and a Thursday the 25th. And again, those days I will not be live at my normal time. I will have to send you a message once we're done testing that I will be live. So I'm so sorry about that. It's just unfortunately how it is this year. So I hate that we're missing out on that time together. and we just have to be flexible, and I appreciate you guys for that. Um, so for my virtual students, you should have received an email or a message through CTLS, and parents were to sign up if they would have their student take the COGAT and the Iowa. And this would be a test they're going to take on a Wednesday, and they have to come to the school to take the test. It cannot be done on a computer. The Wednesday, though, it would be smaller group because it would only be virtual students, and this test is only given to first, third, and fifth grade for the Iowa, and only third grade takes the COGAT in first grade. So it would be third graders, and I would take any of my virtual students, and we will be taking that test on Wednesday. So if you'll turn that form in and let us know if your child will be taking that for my virtual students, that way we can set up what teachers will be there and what time. And also on the 3rd, which is a Wednesday, the 10th, that's a Wednesday, that's when we will be doing the Iowa test for those virtual students. Again, feel free to message me if you have any questions. I know that can be kind of confusing. And I just wanted to show you, don't forget about Education Galaxy. My study plan is great. As far as language arts, we've been working on nouns, verbs, subject, verb, and pronoun, capitalization, punctuation, spelling. You can put spelling into the mix as well. These are some things that your child can work on to practice things we've already learned. If you go under our fictional standards, reading literature, all these items are great reviews for what we've done this year. So having your child, if you're like, we want extra practice, this is a great place to go. And again, looking at the literature, not the nonfiction, the informational, you want to look at literature. As far as math, we've been learning about fractions, area, perimeter, rounding, multiplication, division, word problems. These are great. This is just a great review to make sure your child continues to develop that skill. The alien arena is really fun. I'm sorry, my skill practice. And there's some more practice. This is just on multiplication fluency, comparing numbers, division. Same thing with reading. You can work on plural nouns, parts of speech. So it's a great tool. Please don't forget to check that out. And you can put your child on any of those assignments that I just discussed. As far as Imagine Learning, many of the laptops or iPads already have the app. Some do not, unfortunately. You have to go into imaginelearning.com, and it would look like this. Your child knows to put their lunch number, everyone's passwords 1, 2, 3, 4, and here is our site code, but I also have it on CTLS. And this is to get onto the reading. If your child ever wants to get onto the math portal, which is so fun, you have to keep scrolling down from this page to where it says math portal, and then it'll take you to the math login page. There's the student one. And the site code's the same as well, and that's on our CTLS page. All right, last but not least, I'm on our CTLS page. I went to Carpenter and Weebrick homeroom. My page looks a little bit different than your students. But you click on Carpenter and Miss Weebrick, and if you look under our class board, I have a video for how to get onto Imagine Learning. And just below that, I also have, if you ever forget how to log on, I've showed you lunch number 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the site code. Here's a great resource too. If you go under our resources, right now we're learning about fractions, but here's our Valentine's list, by the way, sorry. If you go to our classroom library, we'll click on this. And then if you scroll down to our very last page, this is our math classroom. You click on the fraction strips right here. It'll give you a website. And this is such an amazing tool for fractions. Sometimes the circle fractions don't show up, so you just have to keep clicking the side until the type of fractions you want shows up. Love this tool, especially when comparing fractions. It's just when children have to draw it out, it's not always an accurate drawing because it's not equal, or like the drawings aren't even. So I love this resource. It's a virtual manipulative. It's something we would use in the classroom. And when your students are doing anything on the sheets that I sent home or on Education Galaxy, they can always click over to this tool instead of having to draw it out in their notebook, so that they can have a better visual understanding of fractions. So those are just a few things I wanted to touch base with you on. I appreciate you listening to this. I know it's a long message, but there was a lot of information I wanted to get out to you guys. And I just want to thank you guys. You have been wonderful, wonderful about taking care of everything your student needs and logging online for those who are at home and just keeping up with all of our assignments. So I hope you found this helpful, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.